Now, I don't know which came first, but as soon as I heard that Montana Senator Steve Daines was saying that the head of the OPM should just go, then he gets news that he's hacked. Now, I don't know which came first, but I do know the senator joins you right now. Which came first, Senator?
Well, Neil, I got that letter when I was back home in Montana over the weekend. And I've got a letter right here from the OPM that says my data's been hacked. And, Neil, I've been a consumer for 3 decades. I've made plenty of transactions with my credit card online. I've never gotten a letter like that until I became a federal employee as a congressman a couple of years ago. And so it shows a complete incompetence of the federal government, and that's why we need to adopt the same practices in the private sector in government, and that is heads need to roll. People need to be held accountable. I think the director of the OPM should be fired.
All right. Now, did the letter indicate when you were hacked? Or could have been?
It doesn't say when I was hacked. But what we know now is the OPM is saying there were 4.2 million records exposed in terms of employees of the federal government.
Right.
The FBI is now saying it's more likely 18 million. The OPM can't even get their numbers straight.
But Senator, here's what's bizarre about it. You're a big deal. You're one of only 100 people who have great influence in the government, how things are done. And I'm thinking if a guy like you can get hacked, then any of the rest of us schmoes can get hacked. And that's what worries me, that this is
Neil,
more common than we think, scarier than we think, if they can get away with, we found out from Josh Earnest, the White House press secretary, he was hacked. Who isn't hacked these days?
Well, Neil, I tell you what, I am more concerned right now about the men and women serving our country, whether it's in the military or intelligence, because it's very likely their data's been hacked. It looks to be Chinese hackers that got this information. We have men and women involved across the globe in intelligence and counterintelligence. Their data may have been hacked, and that puts our intelligence operations at risk.
All right, but we don't fire them there. We don't fire anyone at the Vets Agency. We haven't fired really anyone at Health and Human Services for the clumsy rollout of the health care law, and on and on. What does it take to get dumped in federal government?
Well, it takes a lot of pressure to do anything in terms of holding people accountable in the federal government for results. In the private sector, Neil, I spent 28 years in business, about half that time with Procter & Gamble, half that time with a cloud computing software company. We need to hold the government accountable to standards we hold people in the private sector accountable to. The director should be let go. I think the CIO as well at the OPM ought to be fired. This is unacceptable. It's put up to 18 million Americans, federal employees, at risk here and compromising their personal information.
Well, you can relax because the IRS is on it, and we'll get back to you on how that's working out. But, Senator, incredible.
Neil, you're not making me relax when I hear that.
I hear you, but I couldn't believe that one. All right, and I will have our healthy eating report due out at the end of the show for all of you who have now put me in charge of our nation's fitness program.